Thanks for having me here in the first place. My name is Jagriti Priya Satavalli. I am a director for program management and strategy for a global fintech organization. And I have the experience working with projects, programs, portfolios, and transformations in different industries like pharma, telecom, banking, oil and gas, fintech, to mention a few, in both product and services environments. And coming to the question of is it important to have corporate India to have more women leaders? I think, as Prerna mentioned, not just corporate India but everywhere in the world. Three top things that came to my mind were performance and results. The way women are being ranked higher in various reviews and surveys these days. Just to give you an example, the Harvard Business Review, which has found that women rank top in about 12 out of 16 core leadership competencies, including collaboration, driving results, and self development. And I have also read that women it is proven that women have shown higher inclination for lateral thinking and resilience. So this implies that women are able to put business back on track, and they can also be good coaches for those people who have to recover from setbacks in businesses. So women tend to be more proactive in driving and completing projects. And the second thing is impact on profits. I'm sure all of you must have heard that it is seen and noted when you have women in the corporate organization in leadership roles, this increases company profits. And I would like to quote Catalyst here when it was concluded that companies with the highest percentage of female board directors outperform those with the smallest percentage by up to 66%, which is a high percentage. And women are also found to be agile at the same time, which is the third one I'm coming to, is managing ambiguity. So we women are very good at managing ambiguity. This makes them excellent leaders and helps us to leverage the capability to achieve desired results from other people. This I can see women usually bring different functions together and synchronize efforts, which in turn boosts speed of execution and leads to flawless execution. So these were the three top things that I could think of. Thank you.
Fabulous. I love the research that we've all done, around this question, and thank you for sharing that, Jagriti. The question that I'll come around the table with now is, what was the biggest roadblock that you faced in your career?
For me, the biggest roadblock I have experienced is people or leaders who worked along with me or above me in few of the assignments that I had earlier, sometimes lagged in response to my creative ways of problem solving. I can still remember that, as a child, I was brought up very strictly. So it was constantly that I had to talk to myself. So I had developed that confidence already and I never doubted myself. And I was able to take myself out of that situation, either sit down with my bosses and talk to them and show them what value is created by these kind of problem solving methods, asking them to observe my action and what value it creates over the course of time. Or in worst case, there have been a couple of times where I had to leave the place itself and I took up a new job, but it never slowed me down as such. And it takes a long way to recognize intuitive leadership and out of box thinking. But I've also worked with bosses who were very encouraging and believed in me. And I believe I've been fortunate enough to have that. And in fact, I work with one such now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jagriti. The second question at the table would be, what program or policy or initiative at your company has contributed significantly to increasing a woman's rise up the ladder? And the third question is, what change do you feel is necessary for women and companies to make in order to increase women at leadership levels, especially in a post-COVID world, right? We are living in a world that has, I don't know, been turned upon its head. So there's no way we can leave that out of the conversation. I'd really appreciate it if you'd include that in your answer as well.
First thing is to understand the meaning of diversity, because diversity does not equate women. Diversity means diversity in perspective, diversity in thought process that brings on enhancement in your performance. So it could be less amount of men. You want to hire a man. If there are less amount of women, then you want to hire a woman. It's just about the gender diversity that you want to bring in. So keeping that in mind, it's important to acknowledge gender idiosyncrasies and provide space by accommodating this. So either you're already prepared and you've done your research to include the person you're bringing in, if it's a woman, or you hear, here in quotes, you hear her out and see what accommodations you have to bring in to kind of make her feel included. So that's one thing. And looking at redesigning or redefining working hours or even work itself, and if required, maybe organizations have to look at redesigning to facilitate women leadership. So the complete organization redesign might be required in some organizations where previously diversity and inclusion was not looked at. Maybe one of them is a shorter work week is one thing that I can think of, which can be of support. And the fourth one is reduce gender pay gaps and level gaps also, because if you're expecting a woman to perform at a certain level, it has to be in par with the other levels that you are designing for men in the hierarchy. And arranging coaching sessions for men to reiterate responsibility sharing at home is one more point, being and helping them to be successful allies to their women counterparts, and helping them to educate their families, because I see family as a personal stakeholder. And lastly, about women, what they need to do is develop sisterhood, stand by each other than treating each other as competition, and also be open to mentoring other women.